Kevin clearly remembered the pill that Mitch had given him a few days before. Since he took that pill, it seemed his body had gone through some changes. He wanted to find out more about this fiery red pill, so Kevin called Cook. "Mitch, are you busy right now?" "No, I'm not. What's up, my friend?" Cook had a sense of urgency in his voice. "Did you just send me another pill? What's this one supposed to do for me?" Kevin opened the box on his desk and looked inside. Inside it was a red pill, similar to the tan one that Cook had given him a while back. He decided to call his friend to find out what this one would do, since the last one had disastrous side effects.
"Kevin, didn't I already give you a pill?" Cook slowly said. "Anyway, I found out from the head researcher that the medical properties of the new pill actually enhance the properties of the first one you took. It should help you a lot."
Kevin hung up the phone and stared at the pill. He thought for a while and decided that his friend wouldn't try to hurt him. So he picked up the pill and swallowed it. Within seconds, Kevin felt like his whole body was engulfed in flames. He closed his eyes and passed out. Half an hour later, when Kevin slowly came to, he couldn't find any change to his body. Kevin's phone rang and startled him back to reality. "Who's this?" Kevin asked in confusion.
"This is Phoebe Anderson. We met at the Witzler Hotel, at the celebration the family threw after getting the Williams contract."
"Oh, of course. I remember you now. What can I do for you?"
"I've been meaning to ask you, at Grandma Jones's birthday party, did you give her an antique tiara?"
"Yes. Why?"
"Kevin, the Jones family isn't aware of it, but I peeked in the bag when nobody was looking. I'm sure that it's the legendary golden sunburst tiara. I just want to take a few photos."
"Okay, I think we can arrange that."
"Really? If you're free now, you can come to our antique store, Anderson Fine Jewelry and Antiques. I'll wait for you here."
An hour later, Kevin arrived at the entrance of the Anderson family store. This was the biggest antique store in all of Chicago, and it contained many priceless treasures. Just as he was entering the door, an employee stopped him. "Excuse me, sir. Are you on the list? I was invited by Phoebe Anderson." "Wearing those rags? You can't possibly know President Anderson. Get lost." "That's enough." The two security guards looked menacing as they rushed up to Kevin and grabbed his arms. Kevin struggled slightly, and the two guards flew 6 feet away, hitting the ground with a thud. Kevin was stunned by this. He looked down at his hands in disbelief. Kevin decided he'd wasted enough time with these stooges. He took out his phone and called Phoebe. "If you're not down at the front door in 2 minutes, I'm out of here." Suddenly, they heard a woman's voice from the entrance. Phoebe practically ran out the door. "Kevin, when did you get here? Why didn't you come inside?" Burroughs and the others immediately snapped to attention when they saw her. "President Anderson." Kevin looked Phoebe in the eyes and explained. Phoebe led him into the store's photography studio. Kevin watched her intently. After taking quite a lot of shots, Phoebe turned off the studio lights and put the camera away. She turned to Kevin and said, "Thank you so much." "No problem. If you ever want to see it again, just give me a call. Anytime." A staff member suddenly ran into the room and interrupted them. "President Anderson, we need your help downstairs." Phoebe had just finished taking photos of Kevin's antique, the golden sunburst tiara. Her senior appraiser rushed into the studio to ask for help with a string of pearls that he was unsure of. "Let's go take a look." When they reached the main showroom, Kevin saw a group starting to form around a young man. On the table in front of him was an old mahogany box. "May I ask your name?" "My name is Sam McKay. This is a family heirloom. It never leaves the house, but we're in desperate need of money." They were strung together with what looked like a pure gold clasp. "Pure gold South Sea pearls? How much do you want to sell them for?" $50,000. Since you're the owner of this establishment, you also know that they're worth far more than that. While everyone was discussing the find, another young man walked in. "My name is Charles Grant. Are those actually golden pearls? How much are you selling them for?" $50,000. "Okay, I'll take them." "Well, lady, you missed your chance." "Mr. McKay, I'll take them. I'll tell you what, I'll give you $75,000 for them." "I'm sorry, Mr. Grant, but they're right. I can't go against my principles. I'm selling them to the young lady." "Then you're the biggest fool in the world. Ma'am, it's your lucky day. These pearls are worth at least $100,000. Just as Mr. Landau was about to ask the man for his information to prepare the check, Kevin walked up to Phoebe. President Anderson, if you buy these pearls, you're making a huge mistake. What do you mean? It's quite simple. They're fake. Also, your acting skills aren't that great either. I'm exhausted from trying not to laugh. After hearing this, Phoebe looked at Kevin with a puzzled expression. Kevin took the wooden box from Phoebe and opened it. Everyone here is in the antique business. Sure, the size of these pearls is impressive. However, they've been treated to improve their color and luster. Even the clasp is cheap. A large, perfect pearl should roll like a marble. These pearls are perfect. How dare you destroy my family's most precious treasure? You should at least put some effort into your counterfeits. Has anybody fallen for this cheap crap? I'm sure you have some modern equipment in your lab. Go ahead and check them out. She looked at the printout that Mr. Landau had handed her, and you could tell right away she wasn't pleased. McKay turned pale. Call the police and have him taken to the police station. Grant pointed an accusatory finger at him and yelled, "You're selling fakes? I can't believe I almost fell for it." However, as he turned around to leave, Kevin had already blocked his path. The police lieutenant walked directly to Kevin and asked, "Where are the suspects?" "One is here and the other is over there." Officer Emmett looked disappointed. He reached out and pulled on Grant's skin. Everyone was shocked to see him standing there, holding the man's face in his hand. Well, it was actually a mask, and the nasty face that underneath was pretty frightening. The masks on Grant and McKay's faces were so realistic that nobody noticed anything unusual. But how did Kevin see through the deception? Phoebe let out a disappointed sigh. "I want to invite you to be the chief antique appraiser for Anderson Fine Jewelry and Antiques. You don't have to come to work every day, but if I need your help, I'll expect you to come in. I can give you a salary of $150,000 a year for your effort. Would that be okay? Let me get this straight. I don't need to come into work every day and I'll earn $150,000 a year. Why would I say no to that offer?" Kevin agreed right away. He felt that it was getting late, so he said goodbye to Phoebe and headed back to the office, carrying the tiara in his bag. The next morning, as soon as Kevin arrived at his office, Miss Wilson came in to give him a report on the company's activities. "Mr. Williams, today is the premiere of Brittany Davis's show, the one that the Jones family took the lead on. Do you want to attend?" "I won't be able to attend. If I go, it may affect Brittany's performance. If you can set up the live feed, I'll just watch it here at my desk." He was well aware that Brittany's deal had been set up by the Jones family. Moreover, Lily was personally responsible for it. If he appeared in front of his wife, his true identity would certainly be exposed. Then, when Brittany was halfway through her song, there was a problem with her microphone. The crowd began to boo. Kevin slammed his fist on his desk and called Miss Wilson in. "What's going on over there? There are 4 engineers in charge of Brittany's sound equipment backstage. Unfortunately, they've all made a mess of the production. Please call them to my office." A little over a half an hour later, the 4 staff members who had screwed up Brittany's show entered the CEO's office and saw Mitchell Cook sitting in Kevin's office chair smoking a cigar. There were several men in black suits and sunglasses on either side of him. Everyone knew about Cook's reputation throughout Chicago. After about a minute of this staring contest, one of them couldn't take the pressure and he stammered, "As long as you don't hurt me, I'll tell you whatever you want to know." A few minutes later, Cook ended the impromptu meeting and waved them out of the room. Then Cook stood up and smiled, saying,
"Kevin, everything is clear to me now."
After Cook left, Kevin's phone rang. Dorothy's voice blared in Kevin's earpiece.
"Do you have any idea what just happened? Hurry up and meet us at the Jones mansion."
Actually, Dorothy didn't want to see Kevin. It was Grandma Jones who had ordered everyone in the Jones family to come right away. She was furious. "All right, I'll be right there." While waiting at a stoplight, Kevin called Brittany. When Kevin hung up the phone, he'd just arrived at the Jones mansion. Suddenly, Jason stood up and pointed at Lily. He sneered and said, "Lily, it wasn't easy for our family to set up the deal with Williams Media. You screwed everything up. So now it's up to you to tell Grandma how to fix it." "I'm sorry, Grandma." "Grandma, I think Lily did a terrible job. In order to keep something like this from happening again, I suggest you pull her out of all her duties in the company." One of the younger members of the family said, "That's right, Grandma. What Jason said makes sense." Grandma Jones looked around the room and then looked at Lily. She coldly said, "Then it's agreed. From this moment on, you will have no say in the company's affairs." Just as Grandma Jones finished speaking, Kevin stepped forward and declared loudly, "I disagree. Kevin, you really have some nerve. Take a look around. None of us want to hear what you have to say." "I just want Grandma to investigate this matter further. Why would that bother you? Does this have something to do with you?" Jason looked at Kevin awkwardly. Just as he was about to attack Kevin physically, he remembered what had happened at Grandma Jones's birthday party, and he lost his nerve. Just as the Joneses were about to leave, they heard a charming voice from the mansion's foyer. "May I ask if Grandma Jones is here?" Grandma Jones recognized Brittany at a glance, and her face fell. "Why, Brittany, please don't be angry. The problems at the show were all our fault, and it will cost us dearly. Rest assured that I've already taught Lily a lesson. She's been pulled from all our company projects." When Brittany heard this, she turned to look at Lily. Lily could barely make eye contact. "Please don't blame yourself, Lily. I've already looked into this, and it isn't your fault at all." Everyone was stunned to hear this. Brittany turned and shouted towards the door. "You guys can come in now. Tell Grandma Jones everything that happened." They all saw the 4 Williams Media sound engineers walk in slowly, looking incredibly guilty. One of the Williams employees pointed right at Jason and shouted, "It's him! It was Jason Jones who ordered us to do it." "That's right. He gave us $75,000 each to sabotage Brittany's microphone." The third employee finally spoke up and said, "Mr. Jones also said that he would give us each another $75,000 after it was done." The entire Jones family was now glaring at Jason. "Stop slandering me, you... I've never seen any of you guys before. We're telling the truth. I still have a record of the bank transfer. I haven't moved a single cent of the money he gave me. I've got proof too." Jason was furious. He stared at them as they stood there holding out their phones. "Jason, are you really responsible for all this?" Jason didn't know what to say to her. After a while, Grandma Jones took a deep breath and looked at Brittany awkwardly. "You'll have to forgive Jason. He's young and foolish. If you want to blame someone, blame me for not teaching him better." "I'm disappointed in you, Jason. As of right now, I forbid you to be involved in our family business, and I also forbid you to leave the property for 1 year." "Yes, Grandma." "Are you satisfied now?" "That's all in the past now, but I do have a request. In order to prevent this kind of thing from happening again, Lily will be my contact for any further projects. I don't want to work with anyone else." Just when everyone thought that Brittany had finished, she walked up to Kevin and asked him, "Mr. Williams, what do you think of my solution?" "Very good." With Grandma Jones giving him a very dirty look, Kevin slowly walked out of the mansion. Lily trotted out of the front door right behind him and said, "Kevin, wait a second." "What's the matter, my love?" Lily blushed a little when Kevin called her that. "Kevin, tell me honestly, did you already know the truth before you came here? And how do you know Brittany? Why did she call you Mr. Williams?" "Don't tell me you're jealous. I won't tease you anymore. To tell you the truth, Brittany and I went to school together." "If you were classmates, then why did she call you Mr. Williams? And why did she come over and ask if you were okay with her decision?" However, before Lily could press the issue any further, Kevin's phone suddenly rang. "It must be my boss looking for me. I have to head to work. Take care of yourself." Kevin didn't give Lily a chance to ask any more questions. He just turned around and left. He saw that it was Phoebe calling. "Hello, Miss Anderson." "Kevin, I really need your help. I'm at the store. I'll be waiting for you at the door when you get here." Kevin waved down a taxi and got to Anderson Antiques in half an hour. As he paid the fare, he felt something in the pit of his stomach. As they walked toward the middle of the room, they could hear at least 10 of the local antique shop owners arguing loudly. "I'd bet everything I own. This painting is definitely authentic." Then a third one responded, "You don't know what you're talking about. Just look at the frame. There's no way this is genuine. Kevin squeezed through the crowd and saw a man watching all of this with a distraught look on his face. It was Phoebe's father, Truman Anderson. He was examining a landscape painting very attentively. Dad, what do you think? Do you want me to ask another appraiser to take a look? Just then, the man who was trying to sell them the painting asked nervously, Mr. Anderson, can't you see that this is an authentic landscape? We need a decision right away. This certainly looks like a 17th century Dutch landscape. The material looks authentic and I can even see the proper copper and iron pigments. Something's not right. While they were all discussing the painting, Kevin slowly walked up and asked, May I take a look? Aren't you Dorothy Jones's son-in-law? Dad, this is the antique appraiser that I brought in as a consultant. Please be careful. If it turns out to be a forgery, we don't want to owe this man anything for damages, Truman said. Don't worry, sir. The atmosphere in the room changed. Everyone watched patiently to see if Kevin would make a fool of himself. After only half a minute, Kevin's eyes flashed and he stood up straight with an astonished look on his face. How much does he want for it? $200,000. That sounds about right. Can you tell me why this thing is worth $200,000? Have you ever heard of someone named Vermeer? Of course I have. One of the finest Dutch masters. But he only painted 2 landscapes in his lifetime. How could this possibly be a Vermeer? Look closely at the style. The artist's use of light and shadow. There's a distinctive depth to this piece. And the pigments match Vermeer's preferences too. This is a lost Vermeer landscape. I'm certain of it. Truman looked at Kevin in surprise. This time he pulled a magnifying glass out of his suit pocket. Less than a minute later, Truman practically jumped up and down. Mr. Landau, please arrange for this gentleman's payment. Hurry up before the seller changes his mind. Fine, then go ahead and pay me. I still have other things to do today, and I've already wasted a lot of time here. Kevin laughed to himself. The man had no idea what he was giving up for only $200,000. He obviously knew nothing about art, just some guy making a quick buck. So how did someone like that get hold of such a valuable piece of art? Kevin really wanted to find out. Kevin had correctly identified a lost Vermeer landscape in the store, but then he suddenly noticed a few traces of dirt on the painting. Then he recalled that when he bent down to look at the painting, there was a slight moldy scent. Could this painting have been buried somewhere? As soon as he stepped out of the door, he spotted the man who had just sold the painting. Then he tailed him to see where he could be heading. He saw the man go below street level to Wacker Drive. This was in a part of the underground street that was off the beaten path. Greg, did you sell that thing? I sold the painting for $200,000. Easy money. Should we head down to the south side again tonight and see what else we can dig up? Yeah, Max, good idea. Kevin, who was hiding in the shadows, heard everything they were saying. He couldn't believe it. Could they be grave robbers? Just then, the head grave robber suddenly looked over to where he was hiding. Who's over there? You guys are really bold. Robbing tombs? Aren't you superstitious? Kevin was stunned to see Officer Emmett. You know you're interrupting a private meeting. Actually, she'd been aware of this group of thieves for a long time. Early this morning, she spotted them near one of the older cemeteries on the south side. She followed them here. She wanted to call for backup, but the cell signal was really crappy down there under the street. You're under arrest. I've recorded your conversation and thanks for having it out here in public, where I wouldn't need a warrant. If you surrender quietly, I might ask the court to go easy on you. I'll tell you what, why don't you come with us? Then a few more men came out of the shadows and joined them. Emmett instinctively reached for her hip, but she wasn't in uniform, so her service weapon was locked up safely at the station. Just as Kevin was about to show himself, he saw Officer Emmett knock one of them to the ground with a beautiful sidekick. Put your hands on your heads and kneel on the ground. The man jumped up, pulled out a switchblade, and held it to her throat. Not today, officer. It looks like maybe we're gonna be arresting you instead. He motioned for the others to tie her up with their belts. You guys really are scum. Kevin, hurry up and call the police. Shut up, Johnny said as he grabbed her mouth and poured in a bottle of pills. Kevin saw the other thugs starting to move towards him. He ripped through them in seconds, tossing the large men left and right. Who the hell are you? Who am I? I'm an antiques appraiser." After he said this, the man fainted. Officer Emmett looked like she was in shock. "Are you all right? Do you think you can stand up?" Kevin took the belts and walked over to the unconscious men. He began to search their bodies as he tied them up. He found a pill bottle. "Looks like they were tranquilizers. I may have swallowed a couple, but it would still be nice to get an ambulance down here right away. And a couple of squad cars." Kevin nodded, and then he took out his phone to call for help. "Why are you here?" This guy sold a 17th century Dutch landscape to Anderson Antiques. I had my suspicions, so I followed him here. "Tell me honestly, who are you really? What I mean is, what school of martial arts are you from?" "I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. I know what I saw. When you defeated these men, your moves looked spontaneous. But I saw something deeper in your movements. I've studied martial arts for years, and I studied Eastern philosophy in college. You were keeping something from me." "Officer Emmett, you stream a lot of kung fu movies in your off time, don't you? Do you still want to play dumb? Didn't you take an oath not to let outsiders see you using your techniques?" "I have no idea what you're talking about. I used to practice some taekwondo when I was a kid. Everything I just did was entirely subconscious." "Of course I'm talking about developing your inner power. A lot of people spend years working on this. You seem to be tapping into it without even trying. This sounds like a comic book or something. Are you kidding me? Trust me, I'm deadly serious. There's a lot going on that the average person doesn't know about. And there are some very powerful people who have decided to put their energy into developing businesses, believe it or not. They've become wealthy entrepreneurs, and some of them have very powerful families. Even with all her training, the few pills that she'd taken were starting to make her sleepy. They heard sirens approaching. "Looks like the cavalry's here. Wait, take me home. Can you please do this for me?" Kevin nodded and waited for the officers to arrive. Officer Emmett mustered enough strength to give them their orders so they could take the men to the station for processing. Kevin managed to get Officer Emmett home safely. "I'm really curious. How did you get your strength? If you haven't gotten it through any special training, did you have any help from someone?" Help? He thought of the 2 pills Cook had given him. They were supposed to help him restore his strength. Maybe they did something more, and he quickly took out his phone and called his friend. "Mitch, I want to know what was in those pills you gave me."
One of them was supposed to help boost your energy levels, and the other was supposed to help you with your focus. Why are you suddenly asking me about this? Are you having a problem because of the pills?
"No, don't worry. I'm fine. Just curious." His eyes fell on the top shelf of her bookcase. There were a lot of martial arts books, guides to natural health, but there were also a couple of old books with tattered spines. Kevin walked over and took them down. The first one he opened was a very old translation of an ancient book on training your ki, your inner power. He was surprised to find that it talked a lot about what Officer Emmett had been saying about training your internal energy. It was a quick read, maybe because of his recent improvement in his focus. Kevin put that book aside and flipped open another one. It talked about the yin and yang, negative and positive energy, and harmony, as well as some ways to make natural medications. When Officer Emmett woke up and saw that Kevin was still there, she immediately jumped up from her chair. "Why haven't you left yet? I've got something here and I hope it can help you," Kevin said as he slowly took a reddish-brown pill from his pocket. Kevin had spent the night reading about vitamins and natural medicine. He offered her a reddish-brown pill that looked a little like the one Cook had given him. "What will it do?" "I'm not exactly sure." "You don't know? So what makes you think it can help me? So are you going to take it or not?" Kevin was about to take the pill back as he spoke, but she snatched it out of his hand. She tossed the pill in her mouth and swallowed it with a gulp of water. They waited anxiously for about 5 minutes. Finally, Kevin asked her, "Do you feel anything?" "I feel like I'm going to be another 5 minutes late to work. Are you sure you followed the recipe right?" "I'm not sure. The one I took was given to me by someone else." Just then, Kevin's phone rang. "Lily? Where are you? Hurry up and come to Grandma's. My father's back from his trip." "Okay, I'll be there in a little while." After driving for more than an hour, he finally arrived at the Jones family's mansion. Grandma Jones glared at Kevin, then said to her son,
Oliver, what brings you back after all this time?
Mom, I found a great business opportunity for the family.
What opportunity?
Mom, I met a very powerful businessman. All I have to do is send him the amount we agreed on, and half a month later he'll be able to triple our investment. The family members who were in the room started discussing this with each other. One of his cousins asked him, "Oliver, you chump, what were you thinking?" Some of the other comments were even worse, but Oliver didn't care what they said. He never lost his smile. He handed his phone to Grandma Jones and reassured her. "Mom, this friend of mine is doing development overseas. He's focusing on some real cutting-edge industries. I guarantee that we'll earn a lot of money from this."
Oliver, why don't we invest $5 million first?
Mom, what are you talking about? We aren't some tiny little unknown family. We're one of the most respected families in all of Chicago. If I only invest $5 million, my friend will think that we're not committed. He put our family at the top of his list because of our reputation. If we don't show the same faith in him, we may lose the entire deal.
Then how much do you think our family should invest in this opportunity?
Mom, I think we should invest more. We should invest all available funds. Then once we've made enough profit, we can pull back.
Grandma, please don't listen to Uncle Oliver. We're not even the richest family in Chicago, let alone the world. There's no way someone would approach us first. This has to be a scam.
Dad, in my opinion, you really ought to think twice about this. When she heard this, Dorothy stood up from her seat, walked over to Kevin, and slapped him in the face.
What are you talking about? Don't you want this family to succeed? Just because you're a leech, it doesn't mean Lily's father is too. If you say another word, you will never be welcome in my home again.
Suddenly, Jason had an idea. And at first, Jason wanted to speak out against the idea like Matilda had. But now he saw an opportunity to chase Lily out of the family and make some extra money for himself. So Jason sneered and said, "Matilda, Uncle Oliver has good intentions. How can you say his friend's offer is a fraud?"
"Jason, what do you mean?"
"Grandma, I think this is a good opportunity." While everyone watched anxiously, Grandma Jones took a deep breath and said,
"I've decided to give all available family assets to Oliver for this investment."
Oliver was the most excited one in the room. "Mother, don't worry. We'll easily earn at least $200 million. Meanwhile, Kevin closed his eyes and shook his head helplessly. Soon afterward, everyone left the mansion. When they reached home, Kevin sat down on the sofa. Dorothy glared at him and said,
"Why are you just sitting there? Are you waiting for me to bring you your food? Why don't you go to the kitchen where you belong?"
When he saw that Kevin wasn't going to come out, Oliver turned to his daughter and said, "Lily, I came back home to give my family a chance to make a fortune. But I'm also here to talk about your marriage."
"What do you mean, Dad?"
"Lily, I met a very rich man while I was overseas. His son has been investing in Chicago for the past few years, which is a wonderful opportunity for us. If you want, I can arrange for the two of you to meet."
"Dad, what are you talking about? I'm already married to Kevin."
"Couldn't you get a divorce? You could marry him and then we could all move to Europe."
No matter what you say, I won't divorce Kevin."
"What's wrong with you?" Dorothy said angrily.
"Why don't you want a divorce? Don't you think I'd like to kick him out the door right now?"
"If he leaves, I'm leaving too." Suddenly, Oliver slammed his fist on the table. He had lost his patience. "Enough! I'm the head of this family and I'll settle this right now. Tomorrow you're going to divorce Kevin, and the day after tomorrow you'll meet my friend's son. After that, I'll handle the paperwork for all of us to move to Europe." Kevin, who was cutting vegetables in the kitchen, could hear every word of the conversation. He was surprised to see Lily shove open the kitchen door and walk toward him. She grabbed Kevin's hand and turned around to walk out of the room. As she did this, she shouted at her parents, "When you change your mind, I'll come back. With Kevin."
"If you're with him, don't bother to come back."
"How senseless." Lily held Kevin's hand tightly. They kept walking until they were around the corner from her parents' house. When they reached the bus stop, Lily let go of Kevin's hand, sat down on the bench, and cried. "Are you sure you want to do this?" "Kevin, I won't give up on you if you don't give up on me." Kevin nodded in agreement, turned around, and walked around the corner to get his car. As Kevin started to drive towards Corwin Tower, he was racking his brains trying to figure out how to explain everything to Lily. Kevin turned the Porsche onto Lakeshore Drive and headed downtown. About a half hour later, Lily slowly opened her eyes. She took one look out the car window and her jaw dropped. "Kevin, where are we? Didn't I ask you to take me to your place?" "Lily, this is where I live," Kevin said as he pointed to the entrance of the luxury tower. "The apartment your boss gave you?" After the valet took the Panamera down to the building's garage, Kevin took Lily by the arm and they walked into Corwin Tower together. As she looked up at the beautiful Neo-Art Deco entrance hall, he asked her, "Well, what do you think?" "Kevin, this is your boss's place, right? Is it okay for us to even be here?" "Don't be nervous. I really do live here." "Lily, I helped the company sign a business deal worth billions. My boss was so happy he gave me an enormous bonus. So I bought this condo." "Are you serious? You're really not lying to me. We've been married for almost 3 years. Have I ever lied to you?" Lily dried her eyes and looked around the lavishly decorated living room with the floor-to-ceiling view of Chicago's skyline and Grant Park. It was true that he'd never lied to her. Just then, Kevin's phone vibrated in his pocket. "Mitch, what's going on?"
"It's Adriana's birthday tonight. She's having a party at my hotel and she asked me to invite you."
"Okay, no problem." Kevin decided not to take Lily with him to the party. He didn't want to risk having her find out the rest of his secret. Not right now. Kevin stopped at an upscale mall along the way to buy Adriana a sparkling diamond necklace. When Kevin entered the banquet hall, he saw that, even though it was still pretty early, a lot of guests had already arrived. That made sense. The West Chicago International Group was one of the leading corporations in the Midwest. Just then, they heard someone call out for help. "Please call a doctor. President Archer just fainted." The guests formed a circle around the woman and began to discuss what they should do. Drake squeezed through the crowd and saw her lying on the floor. He furrowed his brow and said,
"President Archer?
"Do you know her?"
"Mr. Williams, you might not know this, but her name is Gwen Archer. She's the CEO of Gwendom Real Estate, the biggest agency in Chicago. Her brother, Dominic Archer, is the head of one of the largest crime syndicates in the city."
"I'm a doctor. Please let me in."
"Dr. Willow? Sorry to trouble you. Please have a look at President Archer."
Gwen still wasn't responding, and everyone began to whisper to each other. Drake walked up and asked her,
"Dr. Willow, has there been any improvement?"
"I think we should transport her to the hospital for testing. All I can do is stabilize her." Adriana nodded and asked Drake to send for a car. It would be faster than an ambulance and the doctor could ride with her. Suddenly, Kevin walked up and put his arm on Drake's shoulder, saying, "Drake, please carry President Archer to the table by the window over there and open it wide. Then have your assistants put out all those candles and take them into the kitchen."
Hi, Kevin here. If you are wondering what happens next, then download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of Insta Empire now with the link in the description.